real estate agents. Welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. He is the man with the plan. How's it going over there?
Impatiently excited.
Impatiently excited. Oh, that's funny.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, we've got a great guest with us today. That's Nicholas Yale, founder of Brokers Hub Realty.
Nicholas Cage. Oh, I'm sorry, Yale.
Oh.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming in.
No, my pleasure.
And you're going to share some things with us about brokerage and kind of how business is out there right now and the direction that you think that the industry is headed. I know that there's some things that we want to cover there. Why don't we start with how long you've been in real estate and what compelled you to get into this crazy business?
Well, it's actually an infamous story, I guess we'll call it. My dad was in real estate. He worked for Century 21 here in Phoenix, had a great house up off of Thunderbird and 7th Street. My parents went through a divorce. Dad said, I'm done with Phoenix, and moved to Houston. And 20 years later, I was going to ASU, couldn't pass my math class, and was visiting my dad in Texas. We were laying by the pool having margaritas, and he gave me the "what are you going to do with your life" conversation.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I want to do real estate like you.
Huh.
And he said, you little brat, I deserve this margarita. I said, I'm not saying you don't, but like it looks like a pretty good life to me.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into real estate. I mentored with my dad for a couple of months, decided that while he hated Phoenix, I equally hated Houston. Mosquitoes love me. And
humidity there is pretty high, right?
They're like hummingbirds over there.
Are they?
They're huge. So I was there for about 3 months and said, done. Came back to Phoenix and decided to get into real estate here and started with Keller Williams Realty. This is back in 1998. So this is my 20th year.
Wow, 20 years.
Yeah.
Lots of ups and downs.
Yeah.
In this market for sure.
It's been a fun ride.
Yeah.
So, my dad said, oh, it's a tough industry and the market goes up and down and the IRS is always after you. And he was right.
Did you say not if we pay your tax? No, I'm just kidding.
It took me a decade to learn that, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah. No,
It's easier to spend what you have.
Exactly.
That's so funny. So why don't you tell? So now you've got your own brokerage, right?
Yeah. So I started with Keller Williams Realty. That was a company my dad was with at the time, and so it was an easy transition that way.
Yeah.
And after a couple of years, moved over to a large firm here in the Valley. Was with them for 17 years, and late last year decided to kind of shake things up. And I'm a bit of a mover and shaker, and always, I think, like the drama of life. So
okay.
Why not go all the way and
there you go.
Try something different?
Be a broker.
Yeah. and it's comical because I always made the joke that over the years people would say, oh, you should open your own brokerage. And then I said, no. You know that the root word of broker is broke. And so no, I have no desire to do that. But that kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier about the direction of our industry. And one of the things that I've lamented over the years is kind of the destruction of the real estate agent and what is wrong with our industry. And I've never been a Elton John, rose-colored glasses, everything is wonderful. I'm a bit of a negative Nelly in that regard. But I see some major problems with our industry, and part of it is the destruction of the real estate agent.
Wow.
That the consumer doesn't respect us. The consumer doesn't value what we do. And as agents, we're not really nice to each other. And we tear each other down. And we don't really lend that helping hand to change that. So part of opening up the brokerage for us was that we wanted to say, and for me it was after 20 years of real estate, I charge the same amount of money as the agent who just got their real estate license. And even though I come with 20 years of experience and marketing know-how and negotiating skills and processes to make the process smoother, I charge the same amount of money as everybody else. And this is one of the few industries where that's the norm.
Yeah.
And so I said, I really want to create an atmosphere where really good agents flock to. And we all say that we're all number one. But there can only be one number one.
At least on our business card, right?
Right. And so I said, let's create some standards of what a good agent is. And if we as a brokerage can do that, hopefully we can help the consumer see that we're not all the same.
Yeah, and that's so true. Have you ever seen the danger report that comes out?
I have.
On an annual basis,
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That last one was pretty telling. Well, I guess it was beginning of last year, but yeah, same thing.
Well, and not to get political, but I think that the danger report was very similar to after the couple of elections ago, and the GOP put out a report of what went wrong, and then they did nothing to change what went wrong. And I think the danger report was a classic example of that we all know what's wrong with our industry.
Right.
We all know what we need to do to fix it. I had lunch with Susan today, and we were talking about, as an industry, it'd be really good if we would just be honest with the consumer and say, hey, we're really sorry. We screwed up. We let too many of us in. We made the bar for entry too low.
Absolutely.
90 hours, take the test.
Yeah.
Your license.
Yeah. And doing that, we're gonna handle your largest financial investment that could either make you or totally screw you for the next 30 years.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we're sorry we did that. And so as an industry, we're gonna change things. We're gonna make it better. We're gonna make it harder. We're gonna make it more expensive so that not every Tom, Dick, and Harry gets their real estate license. So that you as a consumer, we want to earn your trust back, because this is too important for your financial family tree to just let anybody do it.
Yeah.
And so that's something that as a brokerage we really want to hone that in and help like I like to say that we can't lend a helping hand from our high horse until we're on the high horse. So we have to kind of clean our own noses, and then we can reach down and pull other people up. So as a brokerage, we set standards. All of our agents have to get their broker's license. That was the one thing that in real estate we said, how can we show that we are different than the other 65,000 realtors out there? What's the one thing that ADRE has said that we can do? Well, we can get our broker's license, which, if Judy Lowe is listening, it's also kind of a joke to get your broker's license. It's another 90 hours, another $500, and you take a stupid test and you're a broker.
Yeah.
But it was the one thing that we could say, hey, we're different than the other 65,000 agents.
Sure.
So we make all of our agents get their broker's license. We set a production standard, so our agents have to do a minimum of 12 transactions a year. Shockingly, that's
a high producer here.
That's a high producer here. That would put me in bankruptcy, but it's you're doing 12, 15 homes a year, you're a decent producer.
Yeah.
But for the one of the things that came out when I went through broker school last year to do this, because again, I didn't want to get my broker's license because I didn't want the liability that goes with it, because that's what I'd always been told all these years.
Sure.
And one of the things that came out in class was they were saying something to the effect of like 90% of the lawsuits that happen in our industry happen from agents that sell less than 3 homes a year. Well, golly, that sounds like something that's really easy to fix.
Yeah.
Let's stop
selling
3 homes a year, right? Maybe if you're selling a home a month, you know that we have a new purchase contract that came out last year. Or you're not going to spell Benzer with a Z. Or Spuds with a U. So it's going to make agents more professional, which if you're more professional, your clients appreciate more of what you do. And it by elevating the entire industry, it's going to elevate how the consumer views us.
Right. So what do you think seems like a big task?
It is a big task.
I mean, what do you think can be started now, even if it's going to take a while, to get to that point?
Yeah. So we were saying earlier today that we were putting together kind of a blueprint of what we would like to see happen. And I think part of it is creating an atmosphere where good agents can flock to. So that's first and foremost of our brokerage. We want to grow it and give the agents a place to say, I'm not like every other agent, so where can I go where that's celebrated and appreciated? And, your mother told you that you are who you hang out with. And so let's create that who you hang out with environment. From there, the conversation is, is it education? Do we teach classes? Is it really just getting your broker's license? Does that make you that much better? And I think I just verified earlier that it's really not. No. So really what I think is almost, for lack of better words, forming a political arm of the brokerage, where we can go to the Department of Real Estate or go to our leaders and say, hey, those standards aren't good enough anymore. And so we want you to raise our dues. We want you to raise our, why is it 90 hours? Why isn't it 180 hours? Why isn't it 6 months?
Or some type of apprenticeship.
Something,
right?
Actually, to your point, I was just reading in North Carolina, they have that. Where you get your real estate license, and they started this about 3 years ago. You get your real estate license, and it's a provisional license. And you mentor with an agent, I forget if it's 6 deals or 6 months, something like that. And after you do that, then you go and apply to have your license transferred from provisional to an actual license. And it's something that state is doing, and they had a lot of kickback at starting it, but they're starting to see the fruits of their labors, and that the consumers are starting to treat their agents differently. And I think it's a model that really we should look into.
Yeah.
Because if we don't change the standards of what we are as an industry, again, not being the Pollyanna, we may not have an industry in 10 years.
Yeah.
I fear that. I don't fear Zillow. I don't fear Open Door or iBuyer or OfferPad, because they are just the shinier, prettier version of We Buy Ugly Homes, or whatever the other ones, Help You Sell, from 25 years ago. But what has changed is the consumer. The consumer has that information at their fingertips now.
Yeah.
When I got my license 20 years ago, if you wanted to know what your neighbor's house was worth, you had to call a real estate agent.
That's right. Now you go to Zillow or Trulia or any of those, and they'll tell you.
We can have the argument that it's not accurate. That's a different argument for a different day.
Yeah.
But they're getting better at it.
They are.
And
more data to collect.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are watching Westworld, but they're making robots that look like real people, and that's
weird, isn't it?
That's coming.
Yeah. Well, I think Gary Vee says the robots are going to kill us.
Yeah.
Kill us all.
Yeah. So, but
they will win.
But I think
Terminator taught us that, didn't it?
What's
Yeah,
that?
Terminator did. Absolutely.
Yeah. Susan's in the house too, by the way.
Yeah,
Susan Cunningham with security title.
So I don't fear the open doors of the offer pads or anything, because they've always been there. There is a place in our market for that. There's a place for it. Yeah. But the majority of home buyers and sellers, they want somebody to hold their hand. They want somebody that's professional, that knows what they should do. And as an industry, if you're going to sell a $300,000 house, that's $18,000, generally speaking, of what somebody's going to pay a real estate agent to sell their home.
That's right.
Right.
In a state where the average annual income is $40,000, you're going to pay me half your annual salary to sell your house? You better be doing a damn good job.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not going to go out on a limb here, or nobody's going to push me off the limb by saying I don't think most agents do a very good job. So we have to change it. We have to do some things to make the industry better. And I think part of it is just by being that catalyst and being the one that I've taken a few pot shots here and there from people of, who do you think you are? And okay.
Sure. Well, what do you think that on the consumer side though? Our education system in the States doesn't do a very good job teaching financial wherewithal, if you will, or just financial education in general. Do you feel like the whole offer pad, open door thing, all that, do you feel like consumers think they're still going to get the hand-holding with that type of a system?
No.
Because they're seeing the convenience.
Yeah.
But if they're wanting the hand-holding, then that's going the wrong direction.
Well, but I think the problem is that, and I've said this with opening a brokerage, you don't know what you don't know until you didn't know that you didn't know it. And I think that consumers they don't know what they don't know. A very good friend of mine, who's the lender that I use, once in a while he'll lose a loan to Quicken or you know
Rocket Mortgage.
You know, and he'll
8
call me.
seconds you can get approved.
Yeah, and he'll call me and he'll be like, I'm gonna call him and I'm gonna tell him that. I go, hey, first of all, dog with a bone, let it go. Like, take a deep breath. The consumer doesn't realize that by calling Rocket Mortgage, that means that they might rocket into the ground and not get the house they want.
Yeah.
You know, because in their mind, I'm just going to go to Rocket Mortgage. I'm going to get my mortgage from them.
Yeah.
Or, well, I bank with Wells Fargo. I'll get my loan from them.
Yeah.
They don't understand that they may not get the house or the mortgage that they want.
And they're going to get people that get paid a salary versus commission, right? And when it's time to close, they're done. Right. Where a commission person, they're going to work it as hard as they can.
Well, and that's where I think as an industry, we've done a really poor job of communicating to the consumer of what exactly do we do? How do we help you through the process?
Yeah.
You know, we were joking earlier about one of the things that just rakes my nerves was Phil Dunphy being our realtor spokesperson for Modern Family.
Okay.
He's not exactly the most, smart. Yeah. So, but that was who, I don't know if it's NAR or Realtor.com. Realtor.com. That's who they said, well, here's a role model that we're going to put out to the consumer that this is who we are. And that's not who we are.
Yeah.
So I feel that, we have to tell the consumer that just like, going to, Quicken Loan or, and I'm not picking on Quicken Loan because there are some great loan officers at Quicken Loan. So I can stop the hate mail before it starts. But we need to do the same thing with the real estate community to the consumer and say, if you want to buy this house, I told Susan earlier today at lunch, you can either be right or you can get the house. And so we want to help you. If the ultimate goal is for you to get that house, we want to help you obviously get the best price that we can. But there's so much more to that. Like, for example, we want to close it on a Wednesday, not a Thursday, not a Friday, not on the 30th, please, Jesus, of the month, because that means you may not get your keys.
That's right.
Or if you you're sending over your Benzer on day 5 versus day 10, there's a strategic reason of why you wouldn't send it over on day 5. We want to help the consumer through that process, and most buyers don't know that because they don't do this for a living. But what have we told the consumer that we do? We open up lock boxes, we make $10,000, and we have champagne dinners. Flip this house.
Yes.
And I made $50,000 on this house. So we have some work to do to clean up our industry, and we have some work to do to, quite frankly, educate the consumer as what exactly is the role of the agent. Which, by the way, is where we came up with our name of Brokers Hub. I felt that the real estate agent is the hub of the transaction. We help the client with, finding the house or selling the house or staging the house or, finding the right type of mortgage or, not every client getting a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is the best loan for them.
That's right.
Sometimes it's a 15-year. Sometimes they want a 15-year, and you got to talk them into a 30-year because you work at Applebee's and you may not always be able to make that 15-year payment. That comes with skills and
there's
knowledge.
a lot more for a buyer to understand when it comes to buying.
Totally.
It's not just what the mortgage person says you can qualify for. We're also looking at cash flow,
right.
What's left over once you do close,
right.
For a rainy day, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. Do you think that, and from just listening, myself listening to what you're saying, do you feel like this change or this education out to the consumer is going to have to start obviously at the ground level, and because I'm not hearing that anything from the top is really going to come down. It's going to be a bottom up. Maybe.
It's a grassroots effort. It really is, because I think if you look at, I'm very political, so I'm trying not to make this political, but from the top down is clearly failing, and we don't even own Realtor.com anymore. NAR sold it upstream, no pun intended, against upstream, but we don't even own Realtor.com anymore. So clearly there's a failing at the top, but the more I speak with agents about, hey, we've got to do something, we're all in agreement. We just don't know what to do, and so somebody has to be the catalyst for that. And I've made a really, really good living in real estate. This has been an industry that, I've always made the joke that I was poor white trash. I grew up in Sierra Vista. My mother loves it when I tell that story. But, we never had a car that was from the same decade we were living in. I drive a pretty shiny red car now. I did not pass that math class at Mesa Community College, by the way, which is why I went to real estate. I'm not that smart, but I'll outwork you. Yeah. And this is an industry where, the more work you put into it, the better you can do.
That's right.
There's very few industries that can change your financial life like real estate can. Mm-hmm. So I want to give back to the community what has given so much to me.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. And we're growing. You're growing the brokerage now.
We are. We've got 12 agents now. We've got several that have committed to coming over. They just have to finish up the deals where they're at. And then I would say we probably have a good 15 or 20 agents that have said, we love everything that you're saying and doing. Can you show us that it's a concept that will work? And it's kind of that chicken or egg. Yeah.
Right.
So we need a couple of brave souls to come along, and I think as the brokerage grows, and we're not the only brokerage that has standards. I think every brokerage will tell you that they have high standards, but hopefully I'm hoping that we can lock arms together and go to our leaders and say, we want to see these things change, and we want you to elevate the standard, which is our tagline, and we've trademarked it, so don't steal it. But we want to elevate the standard, and we want to see the industry change. And it's going to take that ground swelling to get the leaders to say, oh, they weren't kidding. They really do want this.
Wow, you didn't even read that off I wrote groundswell on it.
Really? Wow.
Really?
That's what that says?
Right there.
Yeah. I didn't pass math. You didn't pass penmanship.
So it sounds like you're excited about your brokerage for sure.
Yeah, very passionate.
Passionate about it, and so what do you think's on the horizon? If you can envision 12 months from now, what are you?
World domination.
Okay, there we go.
So there's that. I think it's going to be a slow burn because I do feel a little bit of David and Goliath. So I think it is going to be a bit of a slow burn. But David eventually won because he was right. And I believe that I am right. And I think that if we can band together as agents and say, we really want to see this industry survive. We really want to, we don't want to see our industry change to where we're all Taco Bell order takers. And quite frankly, I think if the technology continues to evolve the way it is, that could be where our industry heads to. I've always said, the consumer they needed us to find out what the house was worth, and now they have Zillow. Yeah. And then they needed us to they needed our pretty little lockbox to get into the house.
There's Open Door.
And then there's Open Door.
Yeah.
And, now we say, but at the end of the day, we write the contract. Well, the day that Security Title comes out with a contract that every Tom, Dick, and Harry can fill in the blanks, because it's still a fill-in-the-blank contract.
It is.
That day's coming. And so as an industry, we got to figure out what is our worth, what is our value.
Right. I think if you can help enough people with analyzing what best fits their financial means, right? I mean, that will never just go to a push button, I want to buy this house. And I don't like that, I get upset that it's going that direction. Somebody can just make a decision, oh yeah, I'm going to pay $275,000. Oh, I want that house right there, without really thinking through the entire financial picture.
Right.
So I think that on a professional level, I think if that's our focus, is taking in a direction that we know the majority of agents probably don't even think about, that there's going to be There's going to be a career for us.
There's going to be, yeah. Well, and one of the things that we have a fantastic marketing firm that's put together our logo and a lot of the stuff for us. And he would spend all my money if I'd let him. Like, I'd love to do billboards and whatnot. But we were talking about the Tuft & Needle campaign. Tuft & Needle's a small little mattress company here in Phoenix, and they kind of came out of the blue with these giant, ugly billboards that said mattress stores are greedy.
No,
and I don't know.
I remember that one.
I don't know if you've bought a mattress in the last 15 or 20 years, but you go to buy a mattress, and mattresses are expensive.
They're really expensive.
And so even if you haven't bought a mattress in a while, in your head you're like, they are greedy. And so when you go into, we'll pick on Mattress Firm today, you walk into Mattress Firm and you're like, I know you're greedy. Yeah. Right? And so I'm going to watch this, da-da-da-da. It changed, it's kind of flipped that industry. It's really changed how pricing is and how mattresses are bought and sold, and it's a disruptor. And in our industry, there's a lot of that going on as well. So, like I told Susan today, I think that what really needs to happen is, as an industry, we need to, when you get into a fight with your partner, what's the one thing you want to hear your partner say? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Or you're right.
Or you're right. Well, for this example, we're going to go with I'm sorry. But I think we need to almost say, hey, consumer, we're sorry. We do value your business. We do want to be more professional. We do want to, the money that you're paying us, we want it to be worth the value.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is just, be able to get on your high horse and say, hey, don't stop taking photos with your iPhone.
Amen to that.
Yes. Stop. Every listing should have nice photos. Every listing should have a floor plan. These are the standards that we've set for our industry.
That's right.
So
I like it. I like it a lot.
I do.
You're excited, aren't you?
Oh, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Susan gave me a glass of wine before we started.
Oh, okay. There we go. Now we know what's going on. Any final things you want to get out there to agents before we move to the next segment?
Just be good.
Be good.
Be good.
All right.
Get your broker's license.
Get your broker's license.
But that's only 90 hours. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, for now.
I'm just teasing.
When we change that in a year from now.
There we go.
There you go.
All right. So you ready to get in the ring?
Let's get in the ring.
Let's do it.
Here we go. What's the best advice that anyone's ever given you?
Oh, hands down, that was get a CRM.
Get a CRM.
Get a CRM.
Yep. How long ago was that?
18 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That is.
It's still 2 years, though, before you did.
Yeah. No, in fact, I have a brand new agent who I'm mentoring with right now. And he said, what's the number one thing I can do? And I said, we're going to start with a CRM. And he said, see who? and I said, this is what it is, and this is how it's going to help you. And part of it was the company that I worked for previously, they have a lot of older agents. And so I would see these agents that were in their 70s, and they were getting ready to expire, like agents do. We don't die, we just expire.
Yeah.
And I would say, gosh, I see that you're getting ready to retire. I would love to get my hands on your database. And they're like, well, it's right here in this 3-ring binder, and it's and I mean, it was pointless.
Right.
But then you look at an agent like me, and I've got, I know their birth dates, I know their kids' names, I know their dogs' names. Our system sends out automated text messages that says, hey, happy birthday, it's from the Nicholas Yale team. It reminds me that, hey, the Benzer is due, or hey, the Spuds are past due.
Right.
It makes me a better agent.
Which one do you use?
I use RealVolve.
Okay.
It's
that's a good one.
I was top producer for many, many, many years, and I really wanted that stupid auto text messenger. And what a game changer that made in a CRM for us.
Yeah.
So we switched to RealVolve about 1.5 years ago, and it's been good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep.
Specifically real estate. It's a good one.
Yep.
How about your favorite mobile app?
I would have to say it's a silly app, but it's called like RoboKiller.
RoboKiller.
Yeah.
RoboKiller.
Right. No, but it's a spam caller.
Okay.
As real estate agents, we get calls all day long.
Oh, I need to find out about that one.
Oh, it's fantastic.
RoboKiller. Okay.
I get lots of those calls. Leave me the messages and.
Yeah, because what it does is it takes RoboKiller.
Huh.
But what it does is that it tracks phone numbers, and so if you're getting, that your Google is ready to expire, please press 1 now, and you just hit the button that says notify robokiller, this is a spam call, and they put it in their database, and they block the call before it ever gets to you.
Oh, wow.
And so sometimes they let calls go through, and it has like a really cool recording. So if you let it answer it, it'll be like, hello, hello, are you there? Oh yeah, okay. And it's just like this 5-minute long recording, and you hear the salesperson be like, hi, I'm looking for Nicholas Yale. And then it's just this long recording, and then it sends you it, and then you laugh and giggle. And
so you can actually hear the recording.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is funny.
That's the fun part of it. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. How about a book recommendation?
I'm really political, so I read a lot of political books, but I'm reading Hillary Clinton's What Went Wrong. Okay. Because something went wrong. So I'm reading that. I'm reading the Michael Wolff book of Trump's, Fire and Fury? And then once in a while I'll throw in a good little real estate book here and there. So I'm reading a book that Rich Rector wrote. Rich Rector was the owner of Realty Executives. Okay. For many years, wrote a book about how to build a brokerage. So I figured I would throw it into my mix of books to read.
All right. How about a productivity tool? You might have already mentioned this, I guess, or software that you use on a regular basis.
I use the regular. I mean, it's having the CRM is amazing. Other than the DocuSign and Zip forms, and but let me piggy that with it's not just using the app; it's using it to its full potential. Yeah. Like when a couple years ago, an agent showed me in Zip forms how to create a template. Mind blown.
So much easier, isn't it?
Oh my God! And then how to use MLS Connect. So I put in the MLS number, and then it fills in
everything.
Holy cow! Where have you been all my life? Yeah. So it's not just saying, oh yeah, no, I use DocuSign or I use Zip forms. It's using it right.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. One final question. I'll have you draw from the
mask. Be careful.
This is beautiful. What is that, velvet?
God, your handwriting.
You mean
what?
That. Yeah.
What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done? What kind of show is this?
There we go.
Yeah, it has to be clean.
You clearly don't know me. Actually, probably one of the most adventurous things we just did. We just did it in February. We went on a great vacation, my husband and I, to Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. And in New Zealand we did a glowworm cave.
Glowworm cave.
Glowworm.
Seriously, you got to Google it. This is seriously cool stuff. But you go splunking down into this cave, and there's this raging river underneath the ground, and you're in bodysuits, so those little rubber suits, whatever, and they give you these tractor tire tubes, and you go floating down this raging river in the bottom of a mountain. And then you turn out all your lights, and the ceiling of the cave is just covered in glowworms. Wow. And it's fascinating.
So they just glow? There's not like black lights that are shining at the time?
No, they just glow. Now,
crazy.
After the tour, they tell you that it's actually glowworm maggots, and that the mist in there is actually the poo from...
Oh, great.
They tell you that after you're done. Yeah. But while you're there, you're like, oh my God, this is so amazing.
And then it's quick to the shower.
Yeah. But it was really, really cool. There was even some parts of it where there was like natural waterfalls. Yeah. And so, and it's a fast-pacing river. And you come up to the edge of this waterfall, and then they just push you backwards, and you land, and it's probably a 10-foot drop to get to the next level. And so I was in a wetsuit, so it was perfectly fine. Everything stayed together.
That sounds adventurous. For sure.
It's very adventurous.
Wow. And it was in Australia?
No, that was in New Zealand. Yeah.
Wow. So, all right. Haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Traveling is, one of the beautiful parts of real estate is that we make money in chunks. Yeah. Right. So, save some chunks for the IRS, because they take their
40%, right?
Mm-hmm. But set aside a chunk or two and go on vacation. Yes. Your clients will thank you. Your listings will sell while you're gone. I double dipped a listing while I was gone. It was fantastic.
Awesome.
I didn't do it. My assistant did it for me.
Yeah.
But I came home and my name was on it, and there was an $18,000 check when I got back. That's a great vacation.
That is a great vacation.
So, yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, Nicholas, thanks so much for being in. If agents that are listening or watching want to reach out to you directly, how do they do that?
Just go to our website, brokershubrealty.com, and there's a little info button. And click on that, and it goes right to my spam, and
there you go.
I'll look at it.
Killer.
No, I'm just kidding. I really do want to talk to you.
That's great. Well, thanks so much for being in, and
thank you.
Thank you, Susan, for bringing him in.
We love Susan.
All right, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll talk to you next time. It's Jeff Underwood.
Sampaga. Adios.